Welcome back. Polonia Warsaw 3, Widzew Lodz 1. The final score, a comprehensive success for the home side, a first defeat of the season for Widzew. Russ Wiseman with me in the studio alongside Blaszczak. Russ, got to come to you first of all to talk about the odds here, because ahead of kick-off, Widzew 66-1 shots to win the league, and one suspects that they're bigger now.
I think there'd be three figures now, Dan. I'd push them out to 100-1 after seeing that. Didn't really show enough fight in the second half. A couple of probably indisciplined efforts from them as well. However, you've got to look at Polonia. Pretty impressive. 16-1 into 12-1 after that. Plenty to be optimistic about if you're a Polonia fan. Having got that draw at Legia last week, then doing the business at home. If they can remedy this home form, maybe 12-1 isn't a bad value bet. But I'm afraid with a cat in between the sticks like that, Widzew are going to find it really difficult. That was one of the goalkeeping displays that will live in the memory, that one, Dan. He really did his best to kind of give
We
them
were
the whole
talking
game.
about the head-to-head record ahead of kick-off, and we were thinking maybe under 2.5, maybe even under 1.5. But if we'd known the performance of the keeper, we would have gone overs, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Great call again. I mean, the fascinating thing was the in-play betting really was lending itself to under 2.5 and even under 1.5 at one stage. Even money under 1.5 goals at one stage. And we've ended up with 4. I suppose that gives you an idea of how unpredictable this Ekstraklasa is, and gives you a remedy to actually understand that there's a volatility to these games. And obviously the keeper today was just, it was quite incredible, his performance. He even did his best to concede a 4th goal at the end there, but I think Polonia actually took a bit of sympathy on Widzew at that point.
Yeah, Polonia back on track, Robert. They came into this game off the back of a couple of draws. They are expected to be towards the top end, not necessarily challenging for the title, but certainly a little bit closer, and they have done that after victory tonight.
Well, it's one of these teams that you don't know where they want to end up, because it's a team that, historically they, in the last 10 years, they've always been in the top half, but never actually challenging for the trophies. So I really hope that at some point, the talent they have at their disposal this season at least, finally they can make it, because some of the movements, some of the passes was great. It's just the quality in the box. I think a couple of times they actually could create that like final killer pass that they didn't, and the scoreline would be heavier.
Let's take a look at how the top half of the table stands after tonight's matches. Obviously, we had one game earlier today. And, well, we never thought that Widzew were actually going to stay up there, and Polonia have got a little bit closer because, as it stands now, they're just 2 points off the top. But this is an opportunity now for Legia and Lech Poznan to overtake Widzew at the top, Robert.
Well, both sides also had the same opportunity last week, and they were held at draws with Polonia, Legia, and Lech with Pogoń. Nevertheless, with a tricky trip to Lubin for Legia to play Zagłębie, I see more chances for Lech actually to play against Lechia away from home and still getting the 3 points. The match will have live on Sunday, but it just shows you how close Ekstraklasa is, and was like small margin can actually lead to winning and losing so much.
And just off the pace, Śląsk Wrocław, who you said, look, these boys, they are the champions. They will get towards the top sooner rather than later, and it's an opportunity for them as well this weekend.
Well, I mean, despite the fact that they played some dreadful football, they still managed to get 10 points on the board. So, it's a team that I could imagine that they will step up soon. But looking at tonight's highlights, I think the defence of Widzew was all shambles.
Yeah, well, this is the first goal of the game we're about to see. This is Teodorczyk, who gets on the end of this. The keeper should have done better. Decent ball in, but...
Well, still, basically it's a pass. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's the ball is not even struck that's strong. It's just the keeper who was trying, I don't know, to catch the egg, falling from the basket. This is how it looked like. So that's why I'm so.
Do we know what the shirt says there?
In all honesty, I was trying to spot, but it was a bit too low, so I just didn't see the.
First time I've ever seen a guy put it on his belly button though. It's usually
usually quite higher up, isn't it? Yeah.
Just didn't want to lift his top up too much.
Wishok, one of the players that you talked about ahead of the game, got the second goal. This was a well taken second, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, in fact, actually, he only needed one touch to get around the goalkeeper. As you can see, when the ball comes, he doesn't even do anything. It's just the final touch. The goalkeeper, on a number of occasions, he left the post rather unnecessarily, I would say. I mean, Ross,
I agree. I just thought you just didn't need to make that commitment there, Dan. And he's essentially made no challenge at all and given an open goal with 2 defenders actually were closing tremendously well. At that point, Widzew were actually defending pretty resolutely, but I think that took the heart out of them. But they fought back pretty quick, didn't they, after that?
Well, I mean, thanks God they had that conciliation, because it creates some stir towards the end of the match. And at some point, I actually thought that Widzew may actually go for a draw, because they decided to to play for 3 nominal strikers up front. But for the goal, I mean, the challenge was a rash challenge from an experienced.
This is the penalty we're going to see. I mean, it was a well-dispatched pen, but
usually
here is the penalty.
It's interesting because it's a silly challenge. It's a very clumsy.
He's getting nowhere near the ball.
I mean, for an experienced goalkeeper, defender who played in Serie A, Serie B, you don't commit defending mistakes like that. And then interestingly, because in football there's that cliche that if you were fouled in a box, you should not be the one taking the penalty. But Blissett, he doesn't care, and he finished the ball quite nicely.
This was a fair spot kick, and it reduced the deficit to 2-1. And at that stage, you thought, well, Widzew have got a little bit of a squeak here with their penalty
let's see.
success.
I mean, you see it's not a bad taken penalty, and I mean I thought that Widzew might be back into that with the chances they were creating with the cross into the box, with the mistakes made by the back four of Polonia, but it was actually for Widzew to concede the last goal of the match.
Yeah, Golubiewski scored the last goal, and again it's poor defensive work.
How clumsy was that? It's just probably 10 out of 10. I mean, the defense should, especially at that level, if they actually aspire, if they claim, that they want to go all the way. I mean, it starts from the beginning,
I mean, they tried to play themselves out of trouble, in fairness to them, but they just don't seem to have the ability.
But exactly, this is the problem. They should have just kicked the ball forward. Instead, they try to be clever, and then the goalkeeper just literally passing the ball to Golubiewski. I mean, he should, after the match, go back to the goalkeeper and say, thank you, mate, for this pass, because it's a great assist,
He gives it plenty with the celebration as well. I'm not sure if we're going to see it or not, but eventually when he remembers that he scores,
yeah,
there we go, we get a forward roll and all sorts of things going on.
But, well, for Polonia, I mean, it's good to win at home finally, because their home form was something that was put into the question, and they finally answer some of these doubts.
One final bit of action we're going to see, and that's the red card. This is the second yellow card to the French defender, Thomas Fibel. I don't think you can have too many complaints about that, can you?
I mean, how silly it gets. Not only the defence were not playing fantastic well, I mean, the goalkeeper, his behaviour could be, questioned.
Makes you wonder how on earth they were top of the table.
Why, I mean, why do you do these things? The ball is going out of action, right? There's no need to kick that guy, especially.
Funny enough, when the contact was made, he was pretty much out to play the game. It was just a ridiculous decision.
It's just a bit of frustration.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I mean, we don't talk about a young player. I mean, Fibel is an experienced defender playing for many years in Belgium, and I just don't see why would you commit such a silly mistake. It's irrational in a way.